Daniel, welcome to Kat on the Loose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making the journey all the way to West Hollywood.
I mean, I wanted to help your audience and any show called Kat on the Loose.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? I want to see Kat on. Is this Kat on the Loose or is this?
We're always on the loose. We're always trying to find great conversations, great solutions. And when you say help people, we can all use some help. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation. So many questions, so little time. So are you ready?
I am ready to. You're Kat on the Loose. I'm going to be Daniel on the Loose, and we're all going to be on the loose.
So Daniel, for people that don't know you, you started this company. Well, we explain who you are, but you started this company called Full Liberation Technology. In a nutshell, why the name? What does it do? And how can it help people?
So I want to tell a story that'll explain what the company is about.
Okay.
And it'll also explain kind of the mistake that I made in my life, the very painful, horrible thing that happened to me that led me to learn the mistake that I made that I want to share with your audience.
Okay,
so
go for it.
So basically, the horrible thing that happened to me was I fell in love. And which doesn't...
Falling in love is horrible.
That's not the horrible part. The beginning was the good part, as we all know. Disney has shown that. The beginning's great. Disney doesn't show you what happens after the kiss at sunset. We fell in love. It was one of those, once in a lifetime, souls collide, twin flames, you complete me. We were engaged within a few months.
Wow.
That was the great part.
Okay.
But then, spoiler alert, what I learned was that just because someone loves you, and she did love me and I loved her, she was charming and beautiful and fun and wonderful, I learned that someone can only really love you to the level that their ability and capacity to love you.
Very true.
It's very true, but sometimes I was naive. I thought she loves me so much. And why is she screaming at me? Why is she yelling at me? Thinking, well, she'll snap out of this. She loves me. And what I later realized, I was in an abusive relationship. And I was, as much as I can hold her at fault, it was my fault for staying. I was too insecure, self-worth, self-doubt. I stayed. So that's on me.
We've all been there.
Yes.
Believe me, we've all been there.
And so that's on me. And I paid the price because about a month after it finally ended, for 1 week, it was great. I thought, oh, it's so calm in here. No one's yelling at me. And then I was supposed to meet a friend for coffee, and they were running 10 minutes late. And I almost had a panic attack. And I didn't know why. And what I later found out was that I had complex PTSD from being in the abuse, not to mention my self-esteem was in the trash. The procrastination was horrible. The people-pleasing, the perfectionism, the all of it was worse. It's my rock bottom moment. And I'm like, okay, I'm Rocky. I'm going to, eye the tiger. So I start working on myself. I go to coaches and therapists and retreats, and I read the books, and I go to the gurus, and I go to the ashrams, and I was probably in a cult. I was definitely in a cult.
Oh my God.
I did it all. And after 10 years, I just was sitting on a beach in Mexico, and I just realized I still had the PTSD, I still had the anxiety, I was still doing it after 10 years. And so now not only that I had all this stuff that was holding me back, but because I had tried and failed, then I feel broken, I feel trapped, I feel like there's something wrong with me. And I felt like and so I just was beginning to lose hope. Now, that's not where the story ends. There's a good turnaround.
Yeah, I know there's a good turnaround, but I want to put a but there. A lot of people that go through what you went through, obviously, like most people in the world, they have the same issue. They have these lingering effects of being in a horrible relationship, and most people carry that forever. They don't heal, and they transfer that to the next relationship and the next simply because they don't know how to heal. So I agree. I think healing is such a critical part of it.
Thank you. And I saw that I'm the reason this happened again. And if I don't want this to happen again, I also just saw it was a result that I wasn't a stronger, more self-loving person. So I go to work on myself. But again, after 10 years and $100,000, I'm still doing the stuff. So I'm trying to heal.
Yeah.
And in that moment on the beach, I was pissed. I looked up to whoever's up there pulling the strings, big wisdom, source, God, whatever you call it. And I was pissed. And I said, like, what do you want from me? Just what do you want from me? I knew it was a test. We always know it's a test, but I didn't know what the test was. And what I heard, I got a response. And the response was these two words that most people wouldn't get from God, which was results matter. And the reason those words matter, I knew what those words meant. And what those words were from is because when I was 10, my dad is a physicist, and he sat me down at 10 and he said, Daniel, anybody can have a theory, anybody can have a concept. You don't know who to trust, and you don't know who knows what they're talking about. He said, the person you should trust, the person that really knows what they're talking about, gets results. Results matter. And I love that idea that results matter, and you could make things that get results. And I went to engineering school to learn how to design and engineer things to get results. You get a theory, you build a prototype, then you test it, and it never works. Then you test it and iterate it until it works.
Right.
And engineers are getting great at making things that work. Now, they didn't teach me how to make life work, which is how I got into a codependent relationship. But the point is
that they never teach us in school.
Maybe
just the school of hard knocks.
Maybe it was in Einstein's equation and I missed it. But there's nothing about like, hey, when someone screams at you, maybe leave. Yeah. So, what those words of results matter. It let me know that the personal development, spiritual, self-help psychology industry, it's $1 trillion a year industry in the U.S. alone. That's trillion with a T. That's 3 times what people spend on alcohol. That's the same as military spending a year.
Crazy. But
it's not getting good results. Anxiety's on the rise. Depression's on the rise. Suicide's on the rise. Life satisfaction just last year alone, down 3%. Happiness index down 2%. So I said, this industry has good intention people, bad results.
And a lot of bad intention. Well, let's be honest. A lot of people out there, especially because of social media, anybody calls themselves like an expert, right? They're like, and they don't really care about, like you said, giving you real results. They just want to make a buck. They want to sell digital cars. They want to do this. They want to do that. And it's a problem because, a lot of people, when you're desperate, right, you're just gullible and you go for it.
You go for it and they take, I think there are some negative intent people, but even the people that have positive intent, the fact is it's not solving people's pain quickly, and they take your money no matter what. And I said, I'm an engineer. I know how to make things better. I know how to innovate. Maybe I'll try to engineer this. So I started my company, Full Liberation Technology, with the mission to see, could we reverse engineer, meaning create a system of tools and exercises such that it's simple, it's easy. If you work the steps, you get the result. And the result would be that you're free of this quickly.
Of whatever it is that you feel.
Or doing the procrastination, people pleasing,
so wait.
perfection.
Let's slow down a little bit because, let's assume that I want somebody out there that's listening, never met you, didn't see your website or anything. I want them to follow like step by step. So let's say, for example, because you started telling the story of the broken heart and being in an abusive relationship, same with me, right? I was in a very abusive marriage for 15 years. For me, my therapy in terms of healing and getting over that abuse was the podcast, because you vent, and you talk to so many people and you start, changing. But somebody out there listening, let's say they have the same issue, like they have post-traumatic stress disorder or like low self-esteem, which is a big problem for a lot of people that have been in abusive relationships. So if they would find you, they would find your company, you take them through a process that can literally help them get rid of this for good.
That's exactly what the company was set up to do. There's tons of, to be clear, that's the innovation that we did, is it addresses the root cause. And this isn't just for people who are coming out of relationships, just anybody that struggles with anxiety, perfectionism, anything. It addresses the root cause quickly. So in 6 weeks, what you're struggling with is either significantly measurably down or completely gone, and it's permanent. That is it's an online program. Everything is online, all the tools, all the simple, easy to follow instructions. And this is the best part, 90% success rate.
Wow.
And the reason that matters to us is because that's what the years of testing got us. And the reason that matters is because we didn't want to put it live until we knew it could pretty much help anybody at any level. Because when you try something and it doesn't work, you feel worse about yourself. You can do harm when you put things out into the world that don't help people. So it was very important to us to create something that pretty much, we worked with 3,000 people, spent $1 million in R&D. We worked with addicts in South Africa. We worked with entrepreneurs in Europe. We worked with athletes in the US to test to get something so that if you try it, it's gonna work. And this is remarkable. We're the only company in the world where if you choose to work with us, we do not charge you at the beginning.
Calm down. We're going to get there. One step at a time.
Sorry.
Because it's a lot of information.
Okay.
I know. I want to get there. Well,
yes.
I want to, because I agree. I think this is amazing. You said 90% success rate. So obviously this is a system that you developed. You spend a lot of money and a lot of time developing in order to be this successful. So somebody out there listening, and again, you can pretty much, I don't want to use the word cure, but you can heal or help the person get rid of anything. Like if it's not, like you said, the things related to heartbreak, a lot of people are procrastinators. That's a really big one, right? Big issue. Procrastinators. I used to be a procrastinator, big time. Some people have low self-esteem. What are other big ones?
These are the ones that the program's optimized for. Anxiety. We have the emotions, which are anxiety, overwhelm, and anger and frustration.
Yeah.
These are common things that hold successful people from being just their best selves. People pleasing, which is really important for business people because sometimes people don't negotiate for what they're worth because they're always busy making other people happy. The perfectionism cripples people because they're not being productive. They're not putting their gifts out into the world. They're not being authentic because they're so afraid to be perfect. Procrastination, obviously huge. You would be surprised how many successful people we work with. They're like, yeah, I'm successful, but I'm still procrastinating.
Yeah.
I'm still not being as productive. It's affecting how much I make. But also then it leads to anxiety because you're leaving at the last minute. Then they also bring their work home with them because they've been procrastinating. And then also people pleasing, perfection, and self-doubt and low confidence, which even the most successful people often have.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're able to solve. And I can speak from experience because I had all of these. And I now wake up every morning and I just feel calm.
Okay, so you said you had all of this. That's my next question. So it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to choose one issue for your program to fix. If somebody out there listening like, oh my God, yes, I'm all of these things. I suffer from low self-esteem. I procrastinate. I doubt myself. You can literally heal all of that at once.
So it's a good question, and I'll explain to you kind of how it works. I'll give you the short answer because you asked it, and then I'll give you the long answer. So the short answer is that measurement and precision are very important to us. So when you go through the program, you pick one that shows up the most often because there's a set of optimized tools for that one. For instance, I had a client who came to us for procrastination. So she's working on procrastination and using the tools and exercises daily for procrastination. And when you go through the process, you're tracking with our app your results, your productivity, your focus, how many hours per day you are in purpose and commitment. So because of that, we knew that her productivity went from 2 hours a day up to 8 hours a day. Her focus went from 15 minutes at a time up to 90 minutes at a time.
Wow.
Her energy levels rose. And so we track all that. So we focus on one to get precise tools and measurement. But as I'll explain, the root cause of procrastination is the same root cause as the perfectionism and people pleasing. So she came in for help with procrastination, but 2 weeks in, she started speaking up to her husband. She started saying no and being more assertive. And she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "We're engineers. We like efficiency." There's one root cause. So yes, you wouldn't solve all of them, but you would see improvement in multiple things simultaneously. So you pick one, but you get benefit in all.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. And I personally think, like you said, usually one thing is all tied up to the rest, right? Like if you suffer from low self-esteem, if you fix that, all of a sudden you realize that every area in your life gets better, kind of like simultaneously.
Yeah, let me explain to you kind of one of the key innovations that we made when we were building the system that'll help this make sense. Because when people hear what we're doing, they think it's too good to be true. So let me explain to you.
It sounds too good to be true, but like you said, you're literally measuring it and showing people the difference. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And like I said, we don't charge at the beginning. Yeah, only at the end when you get, we're the only.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Yeah.
So when people say, well, how do you, just so people can put it into context, we back this up. So here's how it's possible. And here's also what I want people to know so they don't blame themselves and think they're broken. So we're taught, and it feels like we have multiple individual problems. I have anxiety. I suffer from anger management. I have people pleasing. I am a perfectionist. I am a procrastinator. I have self-doubt. It's taught like we have multiple problems. You go to different coaches for productivity, different coaches for self-esteem, different coaches, different books, different retreats. And it feels like we have multiple problems. And we're also taught that a lot of those problems stem from the mind. You know, it change your scarcity thinking, change your scarcity mindset, quiet the ego in your mind. Cognitive behavioral therapy is to change your cognition and triggers. It's called mental health. It's got the word mental right in there. So we're taught we have multiple problems that stem from the mind. Now, there's truth to that because the mind can say some scary, horrible things that screw us up. But as engineers, we said, if this was all a problem of the mind and we've been focusing on the mind, then why are we getting worse results? It's been 50 years since personal development became popularized, and we're 8% less happy, and anxiety's up 200%.
Really?
So as engineers,
wow.
and because our ego wasn't attached to any particular modality, we just started from scratch, and we re-looked at this from the beginning. And I'll tell you what the research discovered, but I'm going to do it through an exercise. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I want you and your audience to close your eyes.
Okay.
If you want. If you're driving, do not close your eyes, unless you're in a Waymo, then you're not driving. Okay, so, and I want you to see yourself doing one of the behaviors that we described, either anxiety, people-pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, or self-doubt or low confidence. Just pick one of those, and I want you to sort of visualize yourself doing one of those that shows up in your life most painfully, and just kind of see yourself in doing that thing. And now I want you to see that most likely underneath the behavior is almost always fear. You could call it people-pleasing, or you could call it you have a fear that people won't like you, so you put everybody else first or yourself last.
Yeah.
You could call it perfectionism, or you could call it a fear of making a mistake. You could call it procrastination, or you could say you have a fear of starting and finishing things. You could say it's self-doubt and low confidence, or you could say you have a fear of being your natural, true, or authentic self. You could say it's anxiety, or you could just say there's a lot of fear, and you call that fear anxiety. So we saw that these weren't different problems. These were symptoms of one thing, which is fear. But if you close your eyes or keep your eyes open, where do you feel the fear? Where do you feel it usually? In your chest, in your heart, in your throat, your stomach, your gut?
And some people feel it all over, right? They just feel paralyzed with fear of whatever it is.
But there's one place that you don't feel it, which is your mind. You feel it in your body.
Yeah.
And what we saw, again, this is what the research and the data showed, is that fear does not, and fear-type scenarios do not start in the mind. They start in the body. Then they spread to the mind. So in reality, we are taught we have multiple problems that are symptoms of the mind, and we realize, no, you have different symptoms of fear coming from the body. Now, the reason this is important is because everybody else was sent to the mind. If you go to the mind, the best you can usually do is manage the symptoms.
Yeah.
It's great for management.
And this is what I want to mention that I think is interesting. Your technique, by the way, does not involve medication. And I want to make this very clear because, at least in the United States, I think it's very unfortunate. A lot of people go seek help, and the first thing they do is like, a therapist or a psychiatrist, they, like you said, they shove medication like down your throat. Oh, I have anxiety. Here's a prescription. Oh, I'm depressed. Here's a prescription. Whatever it is, they give you prescriptions. And I think sometimes it makes the problem worse because you're just masking the symptom. If you're listening to the audio episode, he's going yes with his head. Yes.
Absolutely. But people know that the medication does that it masks, it's just a Band-Aid. We know that with medication. But what I'm saying is when you hire a coach to help with your productivity and your procrastination, it's helpful, but they're still at the symptom level, which means you'll never solve it. You can't. And the reason I want your audience to know that is because if you spend all this money and all this time trying to solve these things and you can't, you start to feel broken and there's like something wrong with you and you start to feel trapped and like you're on this hamster wheel of personal development. I'm here to let you know it's not your fault. You were told you have multiple problems of the mind, and what you really have is multiple symptoms of the fear, which is originating in the body. You can manage fear in the mind, but the solution is in the body. That was the first big discovery that we made, is to go at the fear in the body.
So you would, let's say somebody out there listening, like, wow, this sounds amazing, sounds really interesting. Can you really get rid of my anxiety, for example? Can you really get rid of my procrastination? Can you really get rid of my low self-esteem? And you believe that if they click on the link and they take this online, it's not a course, right? It's
well, it's a fully integrated system,
right? It's a system,
which is important just because it helps people understand. A lot of people have been using tools, individual tools, and tools are great for management. And if you want to manage something, you can use a tool. Meditation is a tool. It'll calm you down. If you have a negative mindset, there are tools to shift your mindset. So tools are great for management, but really to do anything successfully, you usually need a system, which is a set of optimized tools all in one place with instructions. So it's an entire system. But what I want your audience to know is that at the end, I'm going to send them to my website, danielpackard.com, where at no charge, they can listen to this 90-minute training.
Yeah, so that's the next question.
Yeah. What is your question?
You guessed everything I wanted to ask you. You do offer this free training called Pathway to Permanent Results, and you offer that completely free?
Completely free because, first of all, we innovated something, and anytime you innovate, everyone thinks it's too good to be true. And secondly, we live in an industry where all these people are overpromising and underdeliver. People are hurt and pissed and really untrusting for good reason. So we said, unless we can give people proof that this works, it's going to be hard to get them to trust us. I wouldn't trust me. If I didn't wake up every morning feeling confident and not procrastinating, if I didn't see every day our clients be free of that, I would not trust me. So yes, absolutely. Go to my website, link below or included, and they can download Pathway to Permanent Results. And in that, you're going to understand why the body is creating a lot of fear. And it's something you haven't heard before, and it's dead simple, and you're going to be irritated. Your therapist didn't tell you sooner. And then you can apply one of the techniques that we developed. You apply it to yourself, and you will feel measurably and deeply more calm.
Wow.
Now, you didn't do the training, but I shared with you kind of what's in the training. And what was your experience with it?
I think it's very different, for sure. I completely agree with you. And like you were saying before, people spend a lot of money, right, on this, like I said, coaches, download guides, do this, do that. And they get frustrated because the problem remains, and then they lost whatever amount of money that they paid. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But the way you do it, I think, is very different. Your approach is very interesting. I've never heard it before, for sure. And I definitely think this is what I'm going to say for me, right? I'm all about organic approaches. I don't like, personally, I've been through everything I've been through in my life, severe loss, tragedy, 15 years of a very abusive marriage. Everything that happened to me, you can dream of, has happened. And I never took one antidepressant, ever. And people always ask me, how did you go through it? Because I always believe in like natural organic approaches. So I love the way you do it, because I think it's kind of like a mental exercise, and it's very relaxing. It allows you to really think what the root of the problem is. It allows you to really go deep inside your mind and how you feel. So I think it's fascinating, and I'm all for solutions that, like I said, instead of just going to the doctor and say, give me an antidepressant, give me an anti-anxiety, give me this, give me that. And I think the way you're helping people is much more realistic and much healthier. And I think that's very important. It's a lot healthier than just shoving a bunch of medication down somebody's throat because of whatever it is that they feel, you know?
Yeah. And did you find that it was pretty like logical and simple?
Very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
And when you applied the technique at the end to something that was bringing up some, did you, the point of it is to give you a result that you can feel. So you're not just trusting. Did you feel,
sure. Yeah, no, for sure. And like you mentioned before, you are literally measuring, right? And now I want to bring that up that you said. I mean, you're putting your money where your mouth is, because you're literally telling people you pay at the end when you see results. And I think it's very honorable of you to do that. You're not saying, hey, give me whatever amount of money. And, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, fuck you. You are taking them through this path, helping them figure out what's wrong, helping them fix it. And you mentioned fix it for life, fix it for good. And then you're like, okay, now here's the invoice.
Thank you. And we do that partly because it lowers the perceived risk so people can try something innovative that actually works. Secondly, my dad told me results matter. If you can't get a person a result, you don't charge them. It's wrong. I'm like, if you take a car to a mechanic, if they can't fix your car, ideally they don't take your money.
I know.
And 2 weeks ago, this woman said, well, even if it doesn't work, I'll still pay you. And I said, no, you won't. I said, you're trusting me with your happiness. People are in pain. They're trusting me and my company. If we can't help you, one, I kind of feel bad. And we work on the system to figure out why and improve it. But I am not taking your money. That's just wrong. And just so people aren't confused, with the 90-minute training, we just give that away.
So you guys can literally, by the way, if you're listening to the audio episode, the link of his website is right here, and on YouTube, it's on the YouTube
The guarantee
video.
Of paying at the end is for the full 6-week program.
Yeah,
but
right.
The 90 minutes is free. And
anybody can do it. And if you guys like it, then you decide if you want to go and do the paid training.
Where you only pay at the end when it works. And that's something I want to bring up, is to educate your audience, is what I didn't know when I spent this $100,000 is backing up your results, but just the whole idea of results in this, what I call the improvement industrial complex. It's $1 trillion a year industry, or I call it Big Thera. It's a big industry where they make money off not solving anything. And I was naive when I spent $3,000 at this retreat and the books and the coaches. And here's what to look out for so you don't keep spending money and feeling like you're in the hamster wheel, is look for people that care about results. When you hire somebody, do they tell you what result are they going to get you? Do they tell you in what timeline they're going to get it? Do they tell you how much they can help you? Specifically, do they track results, and do they back up their results?
Yeah.
If not, you have to wonder what results they are getting. We tell you what we're going to deliver in 6 weeks is that you're free of it. We measure it, we track it, and we back up our results. This industry doesn't do that. They try to sell you with very imprecise words.
Because, like I said, very unfortunately, most people are in it for the money. I think you're in it for all the right reasons. And I personally really believe in karma. And I really believe in energy. And I think if you're doing something for the right reasons, not only you bring more results, you bring more clients, you help more people. And I think making money is a consequence of all of that. And you're just doing everything the right way for people. So I have no doubt in my mind that your company is just going to grow and grow and grow the more people find out about it. Because who doesn't want to be helped by someone who actually knows what they're doing and has the best intentions,
Yeah. I mean, this will get out there. We're working with we're working with the Swedish government. We're working with organizations because this is scalable. But honestly, we will always make less money because we're solving it. And that is the payment. This was 3 weeks ago. This woman came to us. She was a chain smoker, anxiety, procrastination, people pleasing, and she was passing it on to her kids.
Oh, wow.
And she was in so much pain, and she had tried so many things. Her marriage was on the verge of divorce. She was not being the mother she wants to be. She's in real pain. And she had tried yoga. She had tried spirituality. She had tried ayahuasca. She had tried I think she did 15 years. She spent like $300,000. And she just felt so broken and just wasn't being the mother. And by about week 4, she reached out to me and she just said, Daniel, not only did I wake up this morning feeling a calm I haven't felt since childhood, but it's permanent. But she said, more importantly, my child is picking up on what I'm doing. And my child came home from high school and I asked my child, how was high school? And she said, well, I got bullied today, but I really didn't care.
Aww.
And my client said, what do you mean you didn't care? She said, well, I didn't like it, but I've been watching what you've been doing through that program, and I've been picking up on it, and I've been applying it, and so it just didn't affect me as much. So when you hear that, there are these people making millions with books and courses and retreats, just selling Band-Aids. The money is in the management, but the satisfaction is in the solution.
No, that's amazing. And plus, this is what I always say, right? If these are things that most people go through, right? We rarely meet someone who is not feeling one of these things, like anxiety, self-doubt, and all of these things that we've been talking about, right? Stress, etc., etc. But a lot of people don't get help. They simply don't get help. A lot of them don't have the money, of course. Like you said, a lot of people don't have $300,000 to keep trying different things. I think a lot of people are ashamed and embarrassed to admit, like, I have a problem, I have an issue. And I think the way you're doing it, first of all, of course, you're offering a free link. So I think that's a great first step. If you guys are listening, if you have anything going on, click on the link, and it's in the privacy of your home. You literally can sit in front of your computer, click the link and see what's out there. Nobody needs to know. So you have all the privacy in the world. And if you decide you want to move forward, you go through all of the weeks and everything that you developed. And hopefully it helps as much as it's been helping everybody, all your clients, because you have fantastic testimonies on your website as well.
I encourage people to see the testimonials because people come on these podcasts, they say, I've got the next great thing. What are your results? So when you see the joy in the people talking and how fast and what they used to struggle with and the speed, and I want to be clear, we kind of help two groups. One, because the process is so simple, we help people that do have a lot of this shame and normally wouldn't go to a therapist, but they like this idea that it's been engineered, that you pay at the end when you get results. But we also work with a lot of people who don't have shame. They've been working on them. I've worked with Google execs. I've worked with tech exec, very wealthy, successful women and men that don't have shame, but they're working on themselves. And it's better, it's improved, but they're not solving it and they want to be free of it. Because when you're free of these symptoms, instead of just managing it, management's great. I had a client who could manage the procrastination, manage the anxiety, manage the people pleasing. He was successful. He had everything was good. But these things, they keep you from joy. They keep you from full expression of self. So when he came through this, he was already successful. But after it, and I get messages from him about once a month, he said, Daniel, I knew there was this version of me in there. And I had occasional glimpses of it, but it wasn't my default. He said, now the best me is my default. I'm more fulfilled. I'm more joyful. That is the power of engineering when you solve things. And I want to tell your audience how we approach the body, because your audience knows that fear is a problem, and you can kind of understand fear comes from the body, but I want to understand how we're able to eliminate fear in the body quickly, just so your audience knows this, because we didn't know this. Is that okay if I share it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So the great thing about going to the body is it's way simpler. If you try to control things in the mind, we don't really understand the mind yet. It's a million bazillion, that's the technical word, million bazillion, neural pathways, neurons, and it's very complex. We don't understand the mind, but the body, in some ways, it's simple, it's mechanical. Your skeleton's mechanical, your heart's mechanical. It's a lot, and there's systems. You've got your coronary system, your skeletal system, it's all systems. Engineers love systems because we know that systems can malfunction and systems can be repaired. So we said to ourselves, maybe there's a system in the body that is malfunctioning, creating this fear, and maybe we can fix the system and the mechanism. So we discovered the system that controls fear, and once you hear it, it's very obvious. So take out the word fear and just use the word nervous, right? Just anxiety is very nervous. Fear is a lot of nervousness. Worry is nervousness. Okay, this is a really simple question to you and your audience. What system in the body do you think is controlling if you feel nervous or not? Your skeletal system, your coronary system, or I see how excited I get. Your nervous system. What system do you think is making people nervous? What do you think it is? A, B, or C?
I think the nervous system.
Yeah, why?
Because it's the nervous system.
It's got the word nervous right in there. It's really obvious. There's a system. Think about this. There's a system in the body called the nervous system, and people are feeling different versions of nervousness. And the mental health experts have been sending you to the mind for 100 years, and anxiety is on the rise. Meanwhile, there's a system in the body called the nervous system. No, you're not mental health experts. It's not mental health. It's nervous system health. Your procrastination is not a mental issue. It's a body issue. So we saw that the nervous system was creating this fear. So then we're engineers. How do you solve this? Well, the good thing about the body is there's these universal principles that guide the body. Most systems in the body need basic nutrients to run properly. You were given this incredible body for free. You don't have to pay for a body. Bodies, can you imagine how much a body would cost if you paid for it?
Oh my God.
If just to buy one eyeball off Amazon, it'd be a lot. And then you get two that work together for a tongue. Think how cool a tongue is. You get all this stuff for free. On one condition, we got to take care of it, and you got to give it proper nutrients. You need to give yourself water, sleep, certain vitamins, food. You need to nourish the body.
For sure.
And if you don't, the system will start to malfunction. So what we saw was, we know a lot of the nutrients that the body needs. Water, certain vitamins. If you don't get enough vitamin C, you get scurvy. If you don't drink enough water, you can get all sorts of problems. So we just said, well, maybe there's a nutrient, not a physical nutrient like a vitamin or a mineral, but an emotional nutrient. This emotional system, the nervous system isn't getting. And we saw, in fact, the nervous system has emotional nutrients that it needs, but we were never taught to give that system nutrients. And so if you're not taught to give that system nutrients, what is going to happen to that system if it doesn't get nutrients?
It's a very different approach for sure. It's very, very interesting. And I highly recommend that everybody checks it out. And hopefully people out there that need help, that's just a very different, very innovative avenue that you created. Congratulations on your incredible work. It's so nice that you're helping people out there because, like you said, anxiety is at an all-time high levels, right? People need help, and I commend you for coming from a good place.
Thank you. And the payoff is, I talk engineering, I talk nervous system, and if you get the nervous system and give it the nutrients it needs, the fear goes away because the system's running properly, and that's all great. But the benefit, and I'll just speak from my experience, now that the nervous system gets the nutrients it needs, that's what we do, it's healthy. And when it's healthy, the fear, the worry, it goes away. And when that goes away, also the fear, the mind quiets down. And that's the value, is you have this calm. My mind is quiet. When my mind does talk, it says nice things. I looked in the mirror today and I actually said, I do me. It said nice things. And I live this joy and this fulfillment and purpose. And it's not temporary, it's permanent. And I'm not enlightened. I'm not smarter. I'm not better. I just used a set of tools that were engineered to solve things. And this is what I want for the world, is to solve these things so they can be their best selves, to be joyful, to be fulfilled, and not spend a lifetime and all this money managing. I want people free of this.
No, and listen, if you can live, like you said, you were talking about the heartbreak, you can definitely get over it. You can definitely rebuild and feel better. If you can have a life without anxiety, if you can have a life without self-doubt, if you can have a life without all these things that keep you behind, your quality of life is going to improve so much. It's like a whole new world out there if you get help and you get past all of that, for sure. And you're not going to take all of that with you, all the traumas, into any potential new relationships, any potential new work, whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
It's very liberating, for sure.
And also, just because the value of what we do, it's an online program, it means it's scalable. And so not only do we help clients, but if you're a member of a school, an organization, a nonprofit, we're working with a women's nonprofit because these tools address self-doubt. So the beauty of the program is it's scalable and systematized. And so we're also looking to collaborate with companies and schools.
I think it's a great idea. I think we talked about it. Like, let's say there's an HR person out there listening, because I know big companies have so many stressed out executives. I think I mentioned that. I think it's such a great idea, right, for a company to provide that to to executives, to teams. I think everybody can benefit from that for sure. But guys, the link is here. It's danielpackard.com, correct?
Yeah. But can I tell people kind of like why they would even go to Daniel Packard? Like, just
go ahead.
Because I care a lot about this, and so I don't want people to miss it. So again, the reason you would go to danielpackard.com is to get the training. And the reason you would even get the training is because you can listen to me. I'm obviously passionate, obviously charming, but like you don't know if what I'm telling you is the truth. You've heard a lot of theories that turn out to not be true. So don't just blindly believe me. I want people to experience this for themselves. When you feel it working, that's the proof. That's the trust that you need to feel, and it will give people hope. So if you've tried things in the past and you've tried everything and it's better, the procrastination's better, the anxiety's better, the heartbreak is better, but you want to be free of this stuff to be the best you, then the way we're doing this is basically we're addressing the fear underneath. We're going to the root cause. It's in the nervous system. We get the nervous system the nutrients it needs. You learn how to do that. Then the nervous system just comes back to health, and you can operate the way you were designed by God. Then the symptoms go away, and you get to be the best you. So if that makes you at least curious to see if this could maybe help you, and you want to see for yourself if it could help you, you go to danielpackard.com, get the free training, and see for yourself.
The link is here. So like I like what you said. See it for yourself. Give it a shot. It's worth it, right? Daniel, thank you so much. Congratulations on your beautiful work.
Thank you for having me.
You're incredible, guys. I'll see you soon. Be safe out there. And if you need help, go get help.
Take action.
Love you. Take action.